So I've got to cook today. I know, this rarely happens, but I found myself at Whole Foods and I got to get some groceries, so let's go in. So I need to buy some steak, and the reason that I came to Whole Foods is because they kind of guarantee a quality of the product of beef that they sell here. In order for a ranch to sell, you're welcome. In order for a ranch to sell to Whole Foods, their beef actually has to be step graded by GAP. Now GAP, we're gonna get to that later. Let's get some beef. Yeah, can I get the 2 pounds of the beef ribeye? Can we do this top sirloin steak? Yes, please. Thank you very much. Sirloin steak, it was like 16 bucks a pound. It's by Country Natural Beef, which you can get all over the Whole Foods here, at least in Seattle. And Country Natural Beef got a really unique story. So in 1986, some ranchers out of Oregon named Doc and Connie Hatfield started their own co-op. The goal of the co-op was for the ranchers to maintain their independence, but as a group, they could actually sell their beef together. So now the co-op is made up of 80 different ranches across the country who all come together to sell their beef as a whole to places here like Whole Foods. I just found this as a really clever business idea for all the ranchers. To compete and sell their beef independently would be very difficult. You gotta have a lot of cattle to be able to sell to a place like Whole Foods, but when they all come together and they commit to the same standards, then they all can make more money by selling here. And Whole Foods, if you have the Prime app. Thank you. So remember I told you that Country Natural Beef, in order to sell to Whole Foods, had to be step rated by an organization called GAP. Well, GAP stands for the Global Animal Partnership, and they set the standards for farms and ranches to be able to sell meat to people like Whole Foods. All right, and so what GAP does is they set all the standards on a level from 1 to 5, and then there's a 5+. And they set these standards for beef, for bison, for chickens, goat, turkey even. And what happens is if you're a farmer or a rancher, you have GAP come and visit your farm and they do an audit, and then finally you get approved and you get your rating and you're able to sell more or less. So the ratings have 5 steps. So there's over 100 different standards that get checked on these farms, but in order to be step 1, the animals have to spend 2/3 of their life on an open pasture, and of that pasture, 50% needs to have vegetative cover. For step 2, they have to provide objects for scratching and grooming that encourage natural behavior. It also needs to be within a 16-hour travel time. For step 4, they need to provide an environment where the animal can express its natural behavior. They also need to spend 3/4 of their life on pasture. Did you notice that there was no step 3? Well, there is no step 3 for beef because that applies to other species and outdoor access. And step 5 is the most strict of the steps. They have to spend their entire life out on pasture. They have as close to a natural life as any farm animal can have.
So you know that I eat out a lot, but the best part about eating out is really finding out the stories and sharing those stories and learning about where the food was sourced on or the story behind the chef or the restaurant owner. But this has the same principle and why I'm so attracted to it. It's nice to be able to go get beef from a grocery store and understand that it was ethically raised, what ranch or farm that it came from, and you know that there are criteria there that made sure that the cow didn't suffer to get to feed us. In country natural beef, find them here in Seattle at Whole Foods. Also, you can find Oregon country beef at PCC. So if you're curious about learning more about them, I will link them below.